Rejection in anime can be hard to watch, especially when it's the main character who gets rejected by the main love interest. But what happens when said rejection ends up being a regret? This is what we'll see in this video of anime where the girl rejects boy and regrets it. First up is Over the Sky. Mio is a girl in high school who slacks off, puts off doing her homework, and isn't any good at giving things her all. She and her childhood friend Arata and best friend Madoka spend their after-school days in Ikebukuro hanging out. One day, though, Madoka tells Mio that she's in love with Arata, and Mio realizes that she loves Arata, too. But she's scared of the trio's relationship falling apart and lies and says that she'll help them. Mio doesn't know what to do, so she deliberately acts coldly to Arata, and the two of them get into a fight. Mio soon realizes that all she's doing is running from her feelings and decides to work things out with Arata and make up with him. She heads to meet him in the rain but gets into a car accident. When she wakes up, she finds herself in a mysterious world. Trains are running on the water, and beside them, beautiful whales are swimming. It's a place she's never seen before. When her train gets to the station, and she leaves the turnstiles, she finds herself in the Ikebukuro she knows so well. But something's different. As she nervously wanders around the city, she meets Gaiman, who calls himself this world's guide. Gaiman says that she's at the world border and tries to get her to open a door that he says will lead her to any world she wants to go to. A mysterious girl called Kiku stops her, and she tells her that the real exit from the world border is a place called the Forgotten Things Counter. When she gets there, she'll have to share with it a treasured lost memory and her strong desire to return home. Together with Gaiman and Kiku, she finds the Forgotten Things Counter, but for some reason, she doesn't know what her treasured memory is. When she can't answer, the two of them disappear. Left alone in an empty Ikebukuro, she's forced to search for the lost thing she treasures in a city now overflowing with memories. Mio has feelings for her childhood friend Arata, but can't convey her feelings. One day, as they continue their delicate relationship, the two fight over something trivial. After letting tensions settle, Mio goes to make up with him in the pouring rain. While on her way, she gets into a traffic accident. When she regains consciousness, a mysterious and unfamiliar world appears before her eyes. Second on the list is Higehiro. After being rejected, I shaved and took in a high school runaway. When regular salaryman Yoshida wakes up one Sunday morning after a long night at the bar, the last thing he expects to see is that his tiny apartment has a new resident, an unfamiliar high school girl. The previous night, despite finally gathering the courage to confess to his boss and longtime crush, Arigato, Yoshida was rejected. After drowning his sorrows at a bar with his good friend Hashimoto, Yoshida headed back to his home in a drunken stupor, only to run into Sayu Ogawara, a runaway high schooler. She asked him to let her stay the night, and with his judgment clouded by alcohol, Yoshida complied. Now, with his head on straight but with no memory of last night's events, Yoshida has Sayu explain just how she ended up sleeping at his apartment. Having listened to her story, Yoshida finds himself unable to kick her out, especially after learning that she came all the way from Hokkaido. So, despite his reservations about sheltering an underage girl, Yoshida allows her to stay, and their life together begins. Higehiro is a story packed with controversies. There are elements within the series which can spark outrage, but I feel that this series does an adequate job with what it's been given. Looking past the nasty implications behind Higehiro's age gap premise reveals an earnest drama brimming with optimism. The healing process that results from Yoshida's initial criminal mistake is the show's strongest selling point, and one of the most heartwarming developments found in anime. Unfortunately, Higehiro does become hampered by inconsistency in areas of writing and direction. Still, I recommend this watch to those who can handle sensitive content. The hope Higehiro instills in its brightest moments could very well trump its upsetting flaws. Third on this list is Golden Time. Due to a tragic accident, Bonri Tada is struck with amnesia, dissolving the memories of his hometown and past. However, after befriending Mitsuo Yanagisawa, he decides to move on and begin a new life at law school in Tokyo. But just as he is beginning to adjust to his college life, the beautiful Koko Kaga dramatically barges into Bonri's life, and their chance meeting marks the beginning of an unforgettable year. After having a glimpse of college life, Bonri learns that he is in a new place and a new world, a place where he can be reborn, to have new friends, fall in love, makes mistakes, and grow. And as he begins to discover who he was, the path he has chosen leads him towards a blindingly bright life that he will never want to forget. What makes this anime stand out is the premise of amnesia. Golden Time is based on the main character, Tada Bonri, who got in an accident, and due to this he now has amnesia. And said amnesia makes him unable to face his old friends and family, because he thinks they will expect the old Tada Bonri. Thus he starts a new life alone at a university in Tokyo. Everything is fine in his new life. He even gets a really nice girlfriend that he loves very much. But as he starts to remember things about his old self, he starts to remember that he loved another girl who's actually on the same university, and they're now in the same club. Due to this, he now has an internal struggle between his old feelings for that girl and his new feelings to his now girlfriend. Fourth on this list is Amagami SS. 2 years ago, Junichi Tachibana had a date on Christmas Eve but was stood up instead. Since then, he has had a hard time showing others his true feelings in fear of being rejected again. However, as luck would have it, Junichi may have a second chance at love when he meets several girls whom he becomes romantically interested in, such as Haruka Morishima, the energetic and popular upperclassman with a love for cute things; Karu Tanamachi, his childhood friend who harbors secret feelings for him; Sei Nakata, the timid transfer student who is shy around men; Inanasaki, a girl on the swim team who has a bad first impression of Junichi; Rohoko Sakurai, a childhood friend with a love for sweets; and Tsukasa Ayatsuji, a seemingly perfect class representative who has a hidden dark side. As Christmas Eve approaches, Junichi can only hope that this will be the year he will finally spend the holidays with the one he truly loves. Tachibana, a young high school student in first class, is overwhelmed by a heartbreak. 2 years ago, a girl failed him on a pre-Christmas date. Since then, no news of the concerned. Therefore, today, he is depressed and does not give himself any chance in a possible new romantic relationship. Fortuitously, the heavens do not hear him that way by offering him the unprecedented chance to meet Haruka Morishima, one of the most beautiful girls in his school, in Terminale class. Next is, My First Girlfriend is a Gal. Following a prank pulled by his perverse friends, Junichi Hashiba asks a gal out in an attempt to change the fact that he's a hopeless virgin. Yukana Yame, the girl in question, is disgusted by Junichi's groveling. However, through a series of teasing remarks, she soon finds herself bonding with him and ultimately accepting Junichi's confession, much to his surprise. My First Girlfriend is a Gal follows Junichi as he overcomes his lack of self-confidence and suppresses his sexual urges, all while thrust into a whole new school life full of lively girls and unpredictable mayhem. Following a bet made with his friends, Junichi Hashiba asks Yukana Yame, the class bimbo, to go out with him. Against all expectations, the latter accepts, and Junichi, the somewhat geeky recluse of the class, therefore finds himself Yame's boyfriend overnight. Quickly thinking of losing his virginity by going out with a bimbo, Junichi will quickly realize that appearances should not always be trusted. Finally, we have Orange. Everyone has regrets in life. So who wouldn't take the chance to change the past if given the opportunity? When 16-year-old Takamiya Naho receives a mysterious letter, claiming to be from her 27-year-old self, her life is suddenly thrown into flux. The letter tells her that a new transfer student by the name of Narase Kakeru will be joining her class, and to keep her eye on him. But why? Naho must decide what to make of the letter and its cryptic warning, and what it means not only for her future, but for Kakeru's as well. One morning, Naho Takamiya receives a letter in the mail claiming to be from herself 10 years in the future. The letter reveals a series of events that are supposed to take place that day. At first, Naho thinks it's just a prank, but when the letter mentions a transfer student named Kakeru Narase, who really ends up transferring into her class later that day, she is forced to believe in its contents. As Naho continues to read the letter, her future self mentions several regrets, urging Naho to take the right decisions now. Somehow these regrets all seem to be connected to Kakeru, and with the burden of the knowledge that the boy wouldn't be with her and her friends in the future, will Naho be able to make the perfect choices that will alter what seems to be fate? Naho is a 16-year-old young lady who intends to enjoy her high school life, which is not very difficult for her since she is surrounded by a happy and tight-knit group of friends. But adolescence obliges, love comes knocking at her door, in the person of Kakeru, a newly transferred student. All this would remain a banal romantic story if Naho did not receive regular letters, which come from herself and from 10 years in the future. These letters explain to him the path to follow in order not to repeat the mistakes that adult Naho considers to have made and which are a source of regret for him.